When illusions shatter, the pain isn't just in the truth, it's in realizing you believed the lie for so long. That's where Serena's story truly begins. The day the tax collector arrived at their fragile cottage was the day every fairy tale she had ever trusted collapsed into dust. Those stories had been her only escape growing up, tales where ordinary girls were chosen, saved, transformed, where magic fixed what life had broken. She had clung to those fantasies with quiet desperation. Maybe someday a miracle would find her. Maybe her empty womb would finally carry life. Maybe the whispers about her would turn into admiration instead of shame. But hope is cruel. Because when it breaks, it doesn't just leave you with reality, it leaves you grieving the future you imagined. Chapter 1. The tax collector's golden eyes gleamed unnaturally in the dim cottage light, his massive frame swallowing the doorway whole. Serena stayed hidden in the shadows, watching as her father clutched Aurora tightly, shielding her like prey from a predator. And in truth, that's exactly what they were. The taxes have doubled this season, the beater's voice thundered, filling every corner of the house. By order of Alpha King Darius. Fear visibly shook her father. Everyone feared Darius. Stories of his cruelty traveled faster than the wind. Even wolves feared him. Humans, though? Humans were nothing more than tools. Disposable. And Serena, she was considered worse than that. Born to shift appearance, yet unable to shift. Rejected by her mate after 5 years of failure. Returned home not as a daughter, but as a burden. A reminder of failure. My lord, her father's voice cracked. The harvest failed us. Please, grant us time. The beater didn't even look at him. His eyes were locked on Aurora. The king requires new slaves. This one will suffice. Serena's body went rigid. Everyone knew what happened to those taken to the king's castle. They didn't return. She's promised, her father protested quickly. She's strong. She'll bear powerful offspring. Then he stopped. And slowly, his gaze shifted. Toward Serena. Take my eldest daughter instead. The silence that followed felt suffocating. You offer the king a defect, the beater sneered. She's useless, her father said coldly. Each word hit like a blow. Her mate rejected her. She cannot bear children. She's practically human already. No loss to the pack. The beater repeated it, almost amused. No loss, but no gain either. She tells stories. Aurora suddenly blurted, then shrank back in fear. Beautiful ones. Serena closed her eyes. The same stories they mocked, now reduced to her only value. Show him, her father ordered, dragging her forward. Prove it. Serena lifted her head slowly. Something inside her had already gone numb. At least as a slave, she thought bitterly, no one will expect what I can never give. I would be honored to serve Alpha King Darius, she said quietly. The beater studied her, longer than necessary. Something calculating flickered in his gaze. Then he nodded. The defective one will do. As he shifted into his massive wolf form outside, Serena didn't look back. Not at her father. Not at Aurora. She had learned something long ago. Stories were the only place where things ever ended differently. And tonight, she would tell herself another lie. Chapter 2. At sunrise, Serena saw the castle for the first time. It was breathtaking. White marble towers pierced the sky, glowing under golden light like something out of legend. For a moment, it almost looked beautiful enough to be safe. That illusion didn't last. Beauty like this always hides something. The beater dragged her forward, not through the grand entrance, but through a narrow, forgotten path beneath the castle. Down. Deeper. Into cold stone. They entered a dim chamber where 5 other girls huddled together, pale with fear. Serena kept her face empty. She refused to break. Strip. The command came from a grey-haired woman with sharp amber eyes. No one moved. You belong to the king now, she snapped. Even your dignity is no longer yours. Slowly, the girls obeyed. Serena moved differently. Controlled. Precise. Folding her clothes carefully, as if that small act still belonged to her. They were dragged into a washing chamber. Ice-cold water crashed over her body, stealing her breath. Rough hands scrubbed her skin raw, as if trying to erase her past. Her hair was pulled, combed, forced into submission. "The king does not tolerate filth," the woman said coldly. "Though I doubt any of you will survive long enough to matter." One girl cried. "Stop," the woman sneered. "He shows no mercy." They were given plain grey clothing. Rules were drilled into them: what to say, where to stand, how to exist without being noticed. Then the woman lowered her voice. "Tonight, one of you will serve the king's special guest." Serena's stomach tightened. Special guest didn't sound like an honor. It sounded like a warning. "You'll be chosen shortly," she added. "Try not to embarrass yourselves." They were lined up in silence. Then, footsteps. Everything changed instantly. Even the cruel woman stiffened. A heavy hand forced Serena's head down. "His Majesty, Alpha King Darius." Each step echoed like power itself. The air grew heavy. "They're all terrified," a deep voice said. No anger. No kindness. Just disappointment. How predictable. Something about that voice pulled at Serena. Against every instinct. She looked up. And everything she believed about kings shattered. Darius wasn't just handsome. He was overwhelming. Sharp features. Dangerous beauty. A presence that felt ancient. And his eyes. They found hers instantly. Serena dropped her gaze, heart racing. "Your Majesty," the attendant asked. "Your choice." Silence. Then, "She will do." And Serena knew. He meant her. Chapter 3. Serena stood before the massive door, her pulse hammering uncontrollably. The air here felt wrong. Cold, unnatural. Even the flames flickered away from the door, like they were afraid. "Please him," the servant whispered, though her voice shook. "Or tomorrow will be worse." Even the guard looked terrified. Then, a sound came from inside. Not human. The door opened. Serena was pushed inside. It wasn't a room. It was something else. The air was thick, sweet scents mixed with something darker. Blood. Magic. Something alive. Her reflection in a mirror flickered, unstable. "Is someone there?" she whispered. No answer. But something was watching. She felt it. A feast sat untouched nearby. A massive bed loomed ahead. Understanding hit her like a wave. This wasn't service. This was sacrifice. Then she noticed the package. Her name written on it. Inside, a gown. Dark as night. Threaded with gold. Beautiful and terrifying. Then, a sound behind her. Claws scraping. Bones shifting. "Put it on." The voice wasn't human. It vibrated through her bones. She obeyed. When she stepped out. Silence. "Eat." She tried. Everything tasted like ash. Then, a shadow fell over her. "Do you like it?" "Yes." "Stand." She did. And then she saw it. Not a man. A monster. Twisted. Massive. Wrong. Her scream never came. Instead, "Were you cursed?" The creature flinched. "How did you know?" "I've read stories." And she kept talking. Story after story. Time passed. "Thank you," it said softly. Relief washed over her. Then, "Will you be my wife?" Everything stopped. "I can't." The creature rose. "Then you are useless." Fear exploded inside her. But faster than fear. Her mind worked. "A riddle," she said quickly. "If you solve it, I'll be yours." Silence. Then, "Tomorrow night." Chapter 4. When Serena returned. Silence spread instantly. The girls stared like she was something unnatural. The head servant dragged her aside. "You survived," she whispered. "How?" Then quickly. "Say nothing. Not a word." Fear was everywhere now. Even in authority. Serena barely slept. At sunrise, a guard stood over her. "The king wants you." Serena followed him through twisting corridors that felt more like a maze than a castle. Up unfamiliar staircases. Past doors she knew she would never be allowed to open. Until finally, a private chamber. Not a throne room. A study. Books lined the walls. Alpha King Darius stood near a towering window, sunlight pouring around him like he belonged to it. Inside the room were only two others, Birdie, who refused to meet Serena's eyes, and a man who radiated quiet violence. The king's beater. Darius turned. And his gaze locked onto her. Up close, he was worse. Not kinder. Not softer. More dangerous. Too perfect. Like something carved by gods, and abandoned before they gave it a soul. So, he began, voice smooth, but sharp underneath. You met my guest. A pause. What did you think? Serena bowed her head. He treated me well, Your Majesty. As did you, for selecting me. Something flickered across his face. Interest. Suspicion. And that is all? He asked softly. He has requested me again tonight, she replied carefully. Darius stepped closer. Too close. Will you go? If it pleases you. A slow smile curved his lips, but there was no warmth in it. I don't care who entertains that thing. That word hit harder than expected. Thing. Serena couldn't hide it. Darius noticed. Does that disturb you? He asked quietly. What would you call such a creature? The room froze. Your Majesty may choose any word he wishes, she said carefully. A pause. Then, even beasts deserve respect. The air snapped. The beater stiffened. Birdie went pale. Respect. Darius repeated, voice turning colder. That creature is a stain on my kingdom. The only mercy I offer is letting it live. Serena lowered her head again. Silence. Then footsteps. Slow. Measured. He circled her. The gown. The jewels. Return them. His voice hardened. You are a slave. Not royalty. She nodded. And if you speak of him, his voice dropped to a whisper. I will know. A beat. And I will kill you. Yes, Your Majesty. A pause. Then, take her away. That night, silence swallowed the castle, and Serena walked back to the door. This time, the guard didn't even look at her. Chapter 5. Days blurred into weeks, and Serena's life became something strange. Divided. By day, she was nothing. On her knees. Scrubbing stone. Hands raw. Missed a spot, Birdie would say. Even when there wasn't one. Start again. The servants avoided her. Cursed, one whispered. That's why she's still alive. King's pet, another muttered. Serena said nothing. She had learned long ago. Silence is safer. But at night, everything changed. A gown waited. A feast. And him. What story tonight? The beast would ask. And she would begin. Careful. Precise. Always stopping before the end. Tomorrow, she'd say softly. And he would let her. At first, she repeated stories. Then, she started creating them. And something shifted. He didn't just listen. He questioned. Challenged. Argued. Why would she trust him after that? He asked once. Because sometimes, we see who someone really is, Serena replied. A pause. And you believe that? I think, people don't change, she said quietly. They reveal themselves. His eyes stayed on her longer that night. You speak like someone hiding behind armor. She didn't answer. Because he was right. Then one night. Everything changed. I have something for you. He led her somewhere new. A hidden room. A library. Books everywhere. And a desk. For you, he said quietly. Serena couldn't breathe. No one had ever. Thank you, she whispered. From that night, everything deepened. Stories turned into conversations. Conversations into something more. You forgive too easily, he said once. Or maybe she's afraid of being alone, he added. Serena froze. Maybe both. Silence. Then, tell me about her. Her throat tightened. She was rejected, Serena said softly. Called broken. Why? A pause. She couldn't have children. Silence fell like a blade. Then, he was a fool, the beast said, voice rough. Tears burned her eyes. What is a woman who can't bear children? She whispered. What purpose does she have? He stood suddenly. Purpose? His voice sharpened. She creates worlds. She sees truth others ignore. She brings light into darkness. Serena looked at him, stunned. At least you won't want to marry me now, she said weakly. He turned instantly. Serena, I would be the luckiest creature alive if you chose me. Her heart slammed. I'm not being kind, he said quietly. I'm being honest. And for the first time in her life, she felt seen. But every night, the same question. Will you be my wife? And every night, the same answer. A riddle. Because truth was simple. She cared for him. Deeply. But the thought of his monstrous form still terrified her. Chapter 6. Then one morning, everything changed again. No scrubbing. No orders. Just a quiet room. Paper. Ink. Freedom. The king ordered it, Birdie said coldly. Serena ran her fingers across the parchment. Her chest tightened. That night. I wrote something, she whispered. She began. A girl born without a wolf. Her voice trembled. Then strengthened. As she told her story. Her truth. When she finished. Silence. Then. A wolf is nothing, the beast said. A mind like yours is everything. Serena looked at him. Shaken. No one has ever seen me, she whispered. Until you. His claws flexed. I see only you, Serena. The way he said her name changed something. Will you be my wife? This time. She almost said yes. Almost. But fear won again. That night. She couldn't sleep. Memories flooded back. Then clarity hit her like lightning. She loved him. Not carefully. Not safely. Completely. She ran. Through silent halls. Into his chamber. Ready to say yes. But then. Sunlight touched him. And everything broke. Bones cracked. Flesh shifted. The monster disappeared. And in its place. Darius. Perfect. Human. Real. Serena froze. He woke. Saw her. And everything changed. You weren't supposed to see this. A curse, he said quietly. By day, a king. By night, a monster. And love must come without knowing the truth. I was going to say yes, Serena said quickly. Enough, he cut her off. Now it's tainted. You've seen both. You love a king. Not a beast. And just like that, he sent her away. Chapter 7. A year passed. And nothing healed. She had everything. Except him. She wrote stories. But they felt empty. Because he wasn't there to challenge them. To understand them. Then. News came. The king is getting married. Her world stopped. She went. Not to stop it. Just to see him. One last time. The wedding was perfect. Too perfect. The bride. Everything Serena wasn't. Strong. Beautiful. Royal. And Darius. Perfect. But Serena saw it. The cracks. The tension. Then. Their eyes met. And everything broke. And then. Chaos. Attacks. Blood. Wolves. Screams. And Serena. Running. To save him. Chapter 8. The arrow came. She moved. Too fast to think. They fell together. Serena. He breathed. You are going to die, she said. The sun dropped. The curse returned. And this time. Everyone saw. The monster. The truth. But Darius didn't care. Not about the crowd. Not about fear. Only her. I love you, she said. And something changed. Light. Power. Freedom. The curse. Broke. Epilogue. A year later, everything was different. No fear. No cruelty. No lies. Just truth. And two people. Who saw each other. Completely. A beast who could never be loved, only feared. A punishment that felt almost poetic, for a prince who once valued beauty and power above everything else. But when the curse finally broke, it didn't just change Darius. It changed the entire kingdom. She mentally prepared her responses. Cold, distant, dismissive. But another thought kept pushing through. Unwanted. Persistent. Zach's face. That moment on the terrace. That look in his eyes. Not anger. Not relief. Something worse. Hurt. You know, I always thought you hated me because of my family. But that wasn't it, was it? The brush slammed harder than intended. Stop, she muttered at her reflection. But the thought lingered. Maybe. She had been too harsh. They're just words, she told herself. But even she knew. There's a difference between honesty and cruelty. They were engaged now. At least, officially. Maybe she owed him a conversation. Something civil. Something adult. But that look in his eyes. Why did it bother her so much? Why did it stay? This is ridiculous. She straightened her skirt. Perfect. Controlled. Unbothered. Or at least, pretending to be. Cecilia. Oh my God, is it true? Melissa rushed toward her, barely containing her excitement. I don't know what you're talking about, Cecilia replied calmly. You and Zach Dalton, Melissa whispered loudly. The engagement. Cecilia stopped abruptly. Lower your voice. How did you even find out? Restaurant staff, Melissa grinned. Your families were seen together. Her expression shifted. You're not happy. Cecilia ignored that. Have you seen him? Melissa's smile widened. Oh, you're not the only one struggling. What does that mean? Well. She leaned closer. He went to a club last night. Got completely wasted. They practically carried him out. Something cold settled inside Cecilia. While she spent the night questioning herself. He was partying. Good, she said coldly. I'm glad he's taking this seriously. She turned sharply. Any intention of being civil? Gone. Cecilia. She froze. That voice. She knew it. For 3 years. Arguments. Debates. Fights. She turned. And stopped. Zach Dalton. Walking toward her. Perfect. Composed. Flowers in hand. What are you doing? She snapped. But then. He smiled. Not his usual smile. Not arrogant. Not fake. Real. Soft. And for the first time. He looked nervous. These are for you, he said quietly. I heard they're your favorite. Cecilia stared. Then remembered. The club. The night. The betrayal. If this is an apology, don't bother. He blinked. Confused. Apology. The club, she said sharply. I didn't go to any club. Silence. He looked genuine. Too genuine. Would you like breakfast? He asked softly. Not because of the engagement. I just want to spend time with you. Her heart skipped. Why? Why now? Why like this? Cecilia, Good God, man. A new voice cut in. Lazy. Mocking. Cecilia turned. And her world tilted. Another Zach. Leaning casually nearby. Messy. Dangerous. Completely different. Flowers. He smirked. Seriously. The first Zach straightened. There's nothing wrong with caring. The second one stepped closer to Cecilia. Closer than necessary. Hello, darling. His voice dropped. Missed me. She stepped back instinctively. Melissa gasped behind her. There are 2 of them. Cecilia looked between them. Same face. Different energy. One sincere. One dangerous. And suddenly, everything felt wrong. Very wrong. And somehow, even more dangerous than before.